This podcast is part of the Everyday Heroes Podcast Network, the network for first responders and those who support them.
Disclaimer. All views expressed on What Makes Us Fire are solely those of the person or persons giving them. What Makes Us Fire does not represent or claim to represent any particular city or fire department, and therefore make the claim that all views and standpoints are affiliated with What Makes Us Fire and with What Makes Us Fire only. Any mention of certain fire departments or cities within the interviews are solely for informational and opinion-based dialogue. In short, if you have a problem with what's published, just say something about it and don't be a Richard.
What Makes Us Fire. This is Josh, your host of the What Makes Us Fire podcast, founder of the What Makes Us Fire Foundation. Thank you for joining us on the show today. Before we get started and everything, I know it's been a minute since I posted the last episode, and I apologize for that. Been going through a lot of stuff and trying to figure out everything, and been trying to get the foundation back up off the floor, and we are now starting to move a little bit forward. So I want to first say thank you to everybody who has shown support, who has continued to back What Makes Us Fire and our mission. If this is your first time listening, again, I'm Josh. I'm a firefighter in the Southeast Texas area, in the Houston area. I founded the What Makes Us Fire Foundation, and I am your host of the podcast. The podcast is to kill the stigma that is talking about our mental health openly and honestly, especially within the civil service realm and those that are surrounded by it. The foundation is dedicated to helping our civil service members, be it military, first responder, active, retired veteran, and our volunteers get and receive inpatient mental health treatment. We do that by not only taking care of the costs associated with that treatment, but we also supplement that individual's income while they are dedicated to that facility. It's too often that we have to make a choice, go to this facility for a month, lose out on income for a month, but our mental health gets better. Continue working, making sure our family doesn't suffer financially, and try to figure this mental health shit all on our own. Well, I can tell you right now, I would say 99% of us would choose our family. I had to. So, the What Makes Us Fire Foundation wants to make sure that that is not a choice that we have to make, that they will still be taken care of, the family's still going to be taken care of. Finances are not a deciding factor on whether or not they go and get that help. If you want to learn more about the What Makes Us Fire Foundation, you can go to our In Progress website. It's whatmakesusfire.org. There you can donate, get some What Makes Us Fire swag. All proceeds go to the What Makes Us Fire Foundation General Fund. You could also find links to the podcast, YouTube channel, and also you can sign up to be a volunteer, and our events page where you can catch up on upcoming events the What Makes Us Fire Foundation will be present at and or hosting. All right, saying all that, my guest today, his name's Brian, and he's a bit of a character in that I've never interviewed someone like him before. The circumstances of our interview, I think, are extremely rare in that, well, just listen. I recorded this interview a few months ago, and the reason why I wasn't able to put it out there soon after was because we were waiting for him to be released. You want to know what I mean? Take a listen. What Makes Us Fire family, please help me welcome my friend, Brian.
Well, Brian, brother, thank you for coming on the show. I really do appreciate it. Welcome to What Makes Us Fire. Thank you for agreeing to do this. You are the first imprisoned guest that I have had on this show. But here's the thing, so the show is called What Makes Us Fire, and we're very civil service forward, mental health forward, and everything like that. People are going to be asking me, why do you have Brian on the show? Why do you have some guy that's locked up? And why does his story matter? And before we get started, I'm going to tell people why your story matters to me. You are on the other side of that civil service, right? You're on the other side of the law. You got caught, you got incarcerated, but during that time, your mindset changed. and your outlook on life changed and your outlook on yourself changed. And the reason why I know this is we had a little bit of a conversation on social media, and with Smokey, Mike, and it was, I felt like you were extremely genuine. I felt like you were genuine, and I have to say thank you for being genuine to a complete stranger on social media and sharing just a little bit of part of your story, but being open to sharing that story. And that's why, to me, your story counts towards this. Mental health affects everyone. It affects everyone. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I always want the perception of somebody that has been affected by a civil service member, that has worked with a civil service member, that's lived with a service member, that has dealt with civil service members, and that have been on the other side of, stuff like that as well. I want to talk to people that have lost their homes to a fire, even though the firefighters did everything they did. Like, I want to know what that feels like. Is there a little bit of resentment? Why didn't you guys get here faster? Why couldn't you save more? And talking to somebody that has been arrested, I'm very straightforward, by the way. So if I'm not, I'm not trying to be a dick or anything.
Listen,
I shoot straight.
Promise you, I prefer you to shoot straight.
Okay, good. I'm not trying to, like I said, I'm not trying to make fun or anything like that. It's just shoot straight.
You good.
But talking to somebody that's been arrested, I've never had that story before. Like, what happened? What was the mindset going in? What was the attitude towards that civil service member? All that other shit, right? And we're going to get into all that. But the reason why I invited you on the show and wanted you on the show is because, one, you're open to talking about your mental health openly and honestly and unapologetically.
Yes, sir.
And two, the mindset that you had and the genuineness I felt from your words and the way you were talking. Yeah, I gotta get this man on the show. Not to mention, Smokey vouched for you as well, and so did Diddy and a couple of other friends of mine on social media. So, but other than that, man, again, thank you for coming on. I appreciate this. I'm actually really excited. I have no idea what I'm going to ask. I don't know what's going to happen.
So, pretty solid.
Yeah, well, and that's how I like to do a lot of you and I are going to get to know each other. And the reason why I like to get to know people on the show, it's raw, it's real, because while I'm getting to know you, the audience is getting to know you just as much as I am. It's not like I sent you questions. I didn't send you no questions. I didn't send you any prep. It just said today, this time, and you're like, bet. And that was it. So we're getting to know each other, man. And I really do appreciate you being able to share that story. And now that I'm going to stop kind of stroking your ego and making your head big. What my first question, I guess, would be, what would possess you to want to come on a show like this? Why would you say yes?
I don't know, man. I guess because I feel like, although I'm in a shitty situation, I put myself here, right? But it all stemmed from an earlier childhood event, and maybe my story could help impact someone else so they can reach out. Like, I never reached out. I just lashed out. So instead of, coming to you or someone else for help, I would just lash out and do irrational things, which led to my current situation.
And so you're using this platform, this idea of being on the podcast, to maybe possibly help somebody else from getting to that point?
That'd be nice. Yeah, that'd be nice. If I could help them to avoid coming, to this place right here, because in a split second, you can change your whole life, man. You could be out there living the free world and everything like that. And one lapse of judgment, and either one, you could get your life taken, or two, be buried, taken, or two, you could get it taken and come here. You could come here for 5 years. You come here for 10 years. You can come here for life, man. So,
well, I think your reason for doing something like this is honorable, in more ways than one. It takes some cojones, it takes some balls, it takes some mental fortitude to be able to share your story. Because I mean, this show's broadcasted worldwide, man. We get an average anywhere between 1,200 to 1,500 listens per episode, and that's across all platforms. So by the time yours airs, potentially 2,000 people, if not more, can listen to your story, right? And this is big. You being able to do something like that, and so you wanting to help others with your story and not being afraid of the judgment that may or may not come says a lot about your character. And I appreciate that about you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So the only kind of structure I have to my show is I let people know how I met you. Obviously, I already did that. It was via social media. But I also want to kind of get a background to my guests, right? And when I say a background, I mean like take me from little Brian up to big Brian. And kind of give us a little bit of a summary of what that was like. I may stop you and ask some questions and pry a little bit. If it's uncomfortable,
That's cool.
Just tell me to fuck off. But the whole idea, the reason why I do that is I think a lot of times when people see somebody in the here and now, they forget that there's this whole past behind them that molded them to the person they are here and now. And sometimes that past needs to be understood. So
Absolutely.
we don't pass so much judgment on somebody, if that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense.
So take us back, man. Where are you born? Where'd you grow up? How's family life like? Hit it with me.
So, born May 18th, 1982, Columbia, South Carolina. Mom and dad was married. I got an older brother. He's 44. He's born in 77. So we had a good childhood and everything like that. My parents, they got divorced whenever I was 5 years old. My mom, she remarried. My dad remarried. Went and visit my dad every weekend, every other weekend, holidays. He only lived like 5-6 miles down the street, so that wasn't too bad. Growing up, I started, my mom, her husband, he was verbally abusive, and he almost got physical abuse one time, but I stopped that. So I grew up, being around that shit right there, and it took a toll on my mental, but it's not the reason that I'm here today. I can assure you that. I overcame that struggle years and years ago. But whenever I was 16 years old, my mom kicked me out and I moved in with my dad. The reason she kicked me out, because I got this girl pregnant. And back then you didn't have cell phones. This was in 99, dude, so you didn't have cell phones or anything like that. So whenever she found out she was pregnant, her and her mom got in the car and drove to my work and to my mom's house. And I was working at McDonald's then. I was 16, and told my mom and told me that she was pregnant. So my mom, she flipped out, kicked me out. I moved in with my dad, and I was doing good with my pops, but there was really no way for him to discipline me because he was a long distance truck driver. And at that time, he had recently got divorced from the woman he married after my mom. So if I did something bad, I mean, you can't really ground me because he's gone for a week or two at a time in California and Washington. Like I said, they didn't have cell phones back then, so he didn't know if I was home or not. So I started, mingling with the wrong crowd, but I was still doing pretty good. Got kicked out of school for getting in a fight with my, at that time, girlfriend's ex-boyfriend. So they kicked me out. I went to Job Corps. When I was at Job Corps, my first daughter, Haley, she was born April 19th, 1999. So whenever I got a notification from the chaplain that she was born or whatever, they put me on a Greyhound bus from Kentucky to North Carolina, where my daughter was at. So I got there, and the pregnancy was fine, the labor was fine, and everything like that. But whenever she came out, she had complications, like heart complications or whatever. So they didn't allow her to leave right off the bat. So I had to get my stay extended. So I got it extended for another 2 weeks. Well, a week after I got there, they had to airlift her from the hospital in Raleigh, North Carolina to Duke, the University of Duke, because they got a big children's hospital there. So they airlifted her and took her there because, you know, she was born with 3 walls in her heart instead of 4. So they were going to wait until she was like 6 months or 9 months old before they did surgery on her, so her body would be able to withstand it and be a little bit stronger, and she had, you know, more of a chance. So they flew her out there. Me and my daughter's mom, we drove. It's like a 6-hour drive. So we get there, and she's doing good. They had her in the NEICU, but she was there for like 2 weeks, and then they moved her to a recovery unit. So everything was going good. Well, one day she started having real complications, so they did an emergency surgery on her and rushed her into, you know, the NICU, and did surgery and replaced some kind of valve or something like that in her heart. She came back from surgery. Hell, you know, everything was fine. She was in NICU for about a week and a half. Me and my daughter's mom, like I said, we were 16, so we were staying at the Ronald McDonald House there. We took shifts, like 12-hour shifts. I would be there from like 7 o'clock at night to like 7 o'clock in the morning. And then she would come. And when she came, I would go downstairs to the cafeteria and get her like a coffee and some breakfast, and get myself like an orange juice and some breakfast. And I would bring it up to her, and then I would shoot to the Ronald McDonald House and give me some rest. That morning, May 22nd, when she got there, she got it like 7:15. So I got up, handed Haley to her, went downstairs, went outside, smoked me a cigarette, came back, grabbed the breakfast and all that, and got upstairs to her ward, right? And as soon as I went there, you seen a bunch of people like running, scattering and shit like that. And as soon as I round the corner, they were all in Haley's little area, right? And she was flatlined. So in that little short period of time, she had passed away. So yeah, that right there is what led to like addiction, because at first I tried to kill myself like 6 months after she was buried. I tried to take my life. I took 26 Xanax bars and drank almost a half a handle of tequila. My brother found me and my dad, they rushed me to the hospital. They pumped my stomach and put me on the little medical wing or whatever for suicidal teens. So I stayed there for maybe like 3 months. Then I got out of that. And the pain, you know, you're a child yourself and then you're losing a child. So, and that's like a parent's worst fear right there, is losing their child. No parent's supposed to outlive their fucking child. But I did. And the pain is just like, every day it just kept getting like the burden, and it just kept getting heavier and heavier and heavier. So, which led to addiction, cocaine. I started, you know, snorting cocaine and just living reckless as fuck, man, because apparently I wasn't capable of killing myself. So maybe if I live a reckless ass life, I won't have to fucking do it. Someone will do it for me, or the drug will do it for me, or whatever. So I just started snorting cocaine, popping X pills, just doing anything to numb the fucking pain. And in the end, it didn't really numb it. It made it fucking worse and worse as the addiction sank in. So in 2004, I got an armed robbery charge because I was trying to get some more coke and shit. So I pulled a gun, robbed someone, shot him in the leg, and I got sentenced to 12 years in prison. Off of that 12 years in prison, I did 10 years and 2 months. I was in prison from 2004 till the end of 2013, December 2013. But in that time that I was locked up, man, it was like, I don't know. I mean, it's weird to say, but I'm in this fucking jail cell around like people who are in here for murder and robberies and drugs and all types of crazy shit, right? With fucking anywhere from a year to life. And I'm back here and my mind is so focused on like survival mode because at first I wanted to kill myself and I wanted the drugs to fucking take me out. But then it became I was on survival mode. Like, okay, now I just gotta goddamn focus on making it through these next 10 years and get out. And the whole 10 years, the only time I really thought of Haley was around her birthday and her death day, you know, April and May. So I got out of prison in 2013. And as soon as I got out, it hit me, dude. I'm talking about it smacked me, boom. I'm back to thinking, start drinking. No more cocaine. I haven't done any hard drugs. Marijuana and alcohol is the only thing that I've done since 2004. Been sober from everything else since 2004. I don't even take pain pills. If I go, like if I broke a bone or whatever, I would take ibuprofen 800 or some shit like that, man, because I don't want any of that shit in my system. But I got out of prison and like, you know, the first couple of weeks it was okay. And then all of a sudden it kept rolling back in. Like, and it came in heavy too, dude. It came in heavy as fuck because here I am 10 years of not even really thinking about it, but a little bit at a time. And now it just fucking like all that 10 years just backed up and just smacked me. And here I am thinking about this shit heavy. So I got drunk, kicked the fucking door in like a dumbass and got arrested on the spot, man. Like I made it like 5 minutes. The neighbor called the police, fucking 2 cops pulled up.
I'm sorry, you kicked the door into where?
To somebody's house.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know him. Yeah, I don't even know him, dude. So I kicked the door in. They charged me with 2nd-degree burglary. The neighbors called the police. I ran out the front door. I didn't make it far, man. I made it probably like 100 yards before he fucking shot me with the taser gun, and I dropped and flopped like a fish. It was over with. And I came to the county jail, and I don't know, man. It was like a fucking spark just hit me, Josh. And I was like, dude, this isn't what I want. This is not what I want. And they were trying to hit me hard, like 15 to 20 years because of I just got out of prison. So my fucking past charges and record, it was, you know, haunting this one right here. So I was like, man. So I made bail. And when I made bail, I hauled ass from South Carolina with $1,000 and a duffel bag of clothes and made it to Louisiana, New Orleans. I found me a job on the bus ride there, and I still got that same job waiting on me whenever I get out. I found a place, a room to rent and everything like that off Craigslist, and I just started a whole new life in a place where no one knew me, man. No one knew my past. I didn't have to worry about anybody judging me or anything like that. I met some super amazing friends who I consider family to this day. And they've stood by me the whole 5.5 years that I've been incarcerated. I've met my daughter's mom, Bianca, and she got pregnant in 2016. We had Gracie December of 2016. And it just like changed my whole entire world, man. Changed my whole outlook on life and everything. And then, you know, I was in survival mode. I'm working my ass off. I'm taking care of my family. And I know that I have no chances for error because if I fuck up, they're going to send me back to South Carolina. And here I'm facing 15, 20 years. My boss, man, you know, I moved up from a helper to a laborer to a foreman and all that right there. And he entrusted a lot of the business with me. And he would send me out to make bids and all that shit right there. So one Sunday, April 23rd of 2017, he sent me off to make a bid, right? My daughter was 4 months old. I went to these people's house in Metairie, Louisiana, gave them a quote. And whenever I came back in New Orleans, there's no left-hand turns. You pass the street and they got a U-turn lane. So I went and made the U-turn. When I did the U-turn, a cop, Jefferson Parish police officer, pulled up behind me. and I had a crack in my tail light like this big and about like that, so you could see the bowl. So he pulled me over, and he was gonna give me a warning, but as soon as he ran my information, he was like, dude, he said, you got an outstanding warrant in South Carolina. I was like, yeah, I know. He said, well, that's not why I pulled you. I pulled you because of the cracked tail light. So I got to call this in. And normally, South Carolina won't come west of the Mississippi. So if they say they're not going to come get you, I'm going to let you go with a warning. But if they say they want you, then I got to lock you up. So I was like, all right. And about 2 minutes later, he came back to my car and he was like, they want you. So I got extradited back down here. My boss, his mom, my dad, and my stepmom, they all put together and hired me a good paid lawyer. And instead of getting 15 or 20 years, I got 10 years nonviolent. And I had to do, 5 and some change off of it. So, and then it'll be over with. I won't have anything haunting me, pay my debt to society. I could just get on with my life then.
Damn. Man, damn. I don't even know where to start, to be honest with you. I'm like speechless. I'm beyond words that you're talking about it. One, you're talking about it like, yeah, I fucked up and this is what happened. And, this is the shit I went through, and this was me trying to fix it, even though I knew I wasn't fixing it the right way. And you're just, I don't want to say nonchalant about it, because it's not a nonchalant type of situation, but it sounds like you've had a lot of time to reflect on it.
I have, man. On this time right here, I've had 5.5 years, but the first 3 was like self-destructive, man. Like I was like suicidal and everything, man, because here I was, having a chance to be a father to my daughter, Gracie. And, I live for coming home from work just to be with her and, feed her and then put her to bed, wake up in the morning, feed her, and then go to work, shit like that, dude. I live for that. And here I was like given a second chance at being a father, and they got snatched away from me. So in my mind, whenever the police put the cuffs on me, I'm like 15, 20 years, I'll never be able to see. Like whenever I was in the back of that cop car, I'm like, I'm never going to see my fucking kid again. I'm never going to see her. So I was just like stressed to the max. But whenever I got this time, it was hard, having to watch her crawling, her first time crawling, her first time rolling over, her first steps, her first words, first everything, man. It was hard as fuck watching that over the phone. And I was just like really depressed. And then like 2 years ago, I gave myself a kick in the ass and I was like, dude, you sitting here acting like a little bitch, when in all actuality, you're blessed, dude, because you're able to watch it, not being there in the physical, but I can actually watch it on video, or I can FaceTime and watch these things happen. And I'm about to be out. And, she'll be 5, almost 6 years old. She turned 6 in December. So you got to take the good with the bad, man. Imagine I'm going to fucking measure a job today, Josh, and they pull me over and I got a cracked tail light. They sent me back to fucking South Carolina and they gave me 10 years and I got to do 5 and some change off of that. She's almost 6 years old. So for the past 5.5 years, she's had her mom and her dad raise her in the same household. And all of a sudden dad gets snatched away from her. Her mind's too young to comprehend that right there. And that will fuck her up. Mentally, it'll fuck her up. But with her being 4 months old, and now she's 5, and the whole time me and her have developed a relationship. She thinks I'm working, so we've developed a relationship through FaceTime and everything. And give it, 6 months to a year, she won't remember a time I wasn't there. Not many people. I'm 39 years old, man. I can't remember what happened, too much before I was fucking 5, 6 years old, Josh. Right. So, and the reason I may sound nonchalant about that, about this whole situation, about my whole life in general, is because it's all chapters, dude. And chapters are what makes a book. And my chapters are what made me. So my past, it doesn't define me as being a horrible person. We've all done shit, dude. Everybody's going to watch this podcast. Everybody that might judge me or whatever, I guarantee you, they've done something that had they gotten caught, they would be in jail, whether it be for a little bit of time or a fucking long time. Everybody, has a past. We've all done shit we're not proud of, man. Does that make us a fucking bad person? Absolutely not, man. I feel like a mistake. If you learn something from the mistake, then it's not a mistake, man. It's a lesson. So
I'm gonna take it back a little bit, man. I'm interested about your childhood. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
No, you good?
I'm interested about your childhood and how that all worked out. There's a lot of theories as to how someone develops through their childhood, and that kind of gives them their personality traits as they grow up, right? And this is me, of course, being straightforward and blunt with you. I'm imagining the childhood probably wasn't all that great, considering some of the stuff that you got yourself into. Now, don't get me wrong. 16 years old, losing a kid, I can't fucking imagine that. I have nothing to compare that to. I can't say I understand how that feels. I can't even say, I get it just a little bit. I don't get it at all, because I've never been through something like that. But to get to that kind of situation, I'm interested what that family dynamic was. You said at about 5 years old, your parents divorced. And I'm not I can't imagine you remember too much of what that was like, but you can definitely remember the dynamic of what it was like growing up within that split home.
Yeah.
Did you have siblings?
My brother. I got my older brother. He's 44. I'm 39.
So he was 10 years old when your parents split.
Yeah, and I was 5, because we're like 4.5 years apart. I turned 40 in May. He turns 44 in December. Okay. So, but my family is like, my parents, they're the shit, dude. Like, my mom's fucking awesome, dude. My dad's awesome as hell. That's my best friend, actually. My dad is. My mom, she's real supportive. Although they definitely frown upon the lifestyle that I chose, they don't know the reasons of like why I did what I did or anything like that. I never broke it down to them and told them anything like that, but I always assured them that it was nothing to do with my upbringing. Like, you weren't a bad parent, so it caused me to be a fuck up, man. I was actually raised in a good household. Now, my mom's ex-husband, like I said, he was verbally abusive, so I grew up hearing that shit right there. But my mom, she was amazing. She finally escaped that situation. And the man she's married to now is fucking amazing. Like, tip my hat to this dude, man. He's a stand-up man. And he treats my mom like fucking gold. My dad's remarried. He's been married for 22 years. And his wife's awesome. So it's definitely not my upbringing that led me to bad decisions. It was,
I guess my question would be then, up until the age of about 16, what kind of put you into that kind of situation? Now, 16 years old, you're a boy, young girl. Yeah, we get it.
That's it.
Right. At 16 years old, you're a horn dog, and if it happens, great. You get a high five with guys when you get back to school, whatever.
Pretty much.
So it's that part I get. I guess I'm kind of wondering is was there any type of this kind of lifestyle prior to that 16-year-old that got a girl pregnant? Was there any of that kind of lifestyle?
I mean, yeah, I was never like a model student or anything like that. I was like a class clown, but I made good grades and everything like that. But yeah, 16-year-old at a party, drinking, smoking weed, and next thing you know, here we are having sex.
It sounds like a lot of your life changed. A lot of what sounds like a downward spiral was when you lost your daughter. After that, it sounds like your life just kind of, because it doesn't sound like you were too bad of a kid. Doesn't sound like you caused a lot of trouble as a kid. Never went to juvie. You had good parents. You had a good upbringing. Usually when you have good parents and good upbringings, you're not fighting. You're not worried about all that other shit. But I mean, at 16 years old, you're a sophomore in high school, maybe? And yeah, sophomore in high school, maybe. And I mean, you said it best, you're a kid having a kid. And on just hearing your story and thinking of it as like on just a biological, mental development level, how do you comprehend something like that, such a life-changing event like that? First, getting a girl pregnant, right? I guess we can understand that because we all know how biology works, but the love you feel for that child once it comes, I don't think it knows any age bounds at all.
No,
I think once you have a child, there's this love for that child. It's a part of you.
Especially when you cut that umbilical cord, man, and just you hold it for the first time. Whether you're a 14-year-old kid or a 40-year-old man, dude, you still have that same love in your eyes, man. This is something like perfect coming into this world right here. And that's something that you created. You know what I mean? You and this woman right here created this perfect little child. So, yeah.
When going through all that, now you got kicked out of school because you got into a fight. I got into plenty of fights when I was in school. I got in-school suspension. I'd get suspended from the school. I just looked at it as an extended weekend. But they like expelled you. You had to go. You went to a completely different thing. You went to a Job Corps thing.
I went to Job Corps in Kentucky. I put him in the hospital though.
That's probably why. What was that? How did that affect you, knowing that here's this girl that's pregnant with your child? And I'm asking you to relive something that when you were 16, man. So it's different it's hard for me to ask like what that mindset was, because obviously you've grown since then. So I guess reflecting back on it would be my question. Reflecting back on it, how do you feel like that kind of molded you, knowing that here's this woman, another child too, by the way, that is having your child, and you're not even there to help?
Me and her, we were like a little summer fling, dude. It wasn't like she was like a long-term girlfriend. She lived in North Carolina. I lived in South Carolina, and her dad lived in South Carolina. So she came down for the summer, and me and her linked up, partied, had sex a bunch, and just like we were like a summer boyfriend and girlfriend couple or something like that. And then, when school started back, she went back to North Carolina, and I stayed here in South Carolina. So we broke up when the summer ended. It was like, okay, the relationship's over with. So I wasn't like with Bianca and Gracie, I was there for every doctor's appointment.
Right. And this is the second mother, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I was there for every one of the doctor's appointments, and I was there for her birth, everything, man. But with Stephanie, my first child's mom, she was in North Carolina. So I made it to one appointment before I went to Job Corps, and I would just talk to her on the phone. Like I had a little phone card or whatever. So I could call her from the payphone at Job Corps and check in with her and, see what the updates were with doctor's visits and everything like that. And then I was there for whenever she was born, whenever she went into labor and everything. As soon as her water broke, I got on the bus like an hour later. It's like an 8-hour ride. And I got there like 45 minutes. My mom picked me up from the bus station like 45 minutes before the baby came out. So that was a blessing. I was actually there for that.
At 16 years old, what was that feeling like? Because for me, my son, my first child that was born wasn't born until I was 24, I think. Yeah, 24.
Terrifying, dude. I'm sitting here on a fucking 8-hour bus ride. My child's mother's in labor, and I'm sitting here. I've never Like my brother, he has a little girl, right? But I was the first one. I was fucking 16 years old, so I was the first one to have a kid. So I've never been to like uh, the hospital to visit, anyone having a child, let alone being in the fucking room while they're pushing it out. So I was terrified, man. I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat it. Like I was absolutely fucking terrified, man. As I'm 16 years old, and I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do, man? Like, how am I gonna take care of? I can't even take care of my fucking self. So how am I gonna take care of another goddamn human being? And like, I don't know. I was scared. Dude. I was scared as a motherfucker.
You might have been scared of not knowing, but you were still willing to step up. So that says something.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
That says something about your character at the time.
Yeah.
Even being 16 years old, there's plenty of stories we hear about a 16-year-old kid that just kind of balks and walks away. You know what I mean? And you still, even though at 16, were ready to step up as much as you could. During the time that Haley was sick and in the hospital and everything, how did that play into what was going on in your head? And I'm asking you to relive the mind of a 16-year-old, which is it's blowing
It was a
my
mental
mind.
disaster, man. It was a mental disaster, dude. Like everything was touch and go, touch and go, touch and go. So you didn't know what the fuck was going on, man, from one day to the next. So it was just constant stress. When the fucking phone would ring in the in our room at the Ronald McDonald House, I instantly got down, like fucking go into panic mode because I'm thinking, okay, this is it. Like she passed away or something like that. And it might be my dad calling to check on me, but I'm in North Carolina, 5 hours away from my family. So I'm a kid, at the hospital with another, with my kid. And I have no support around me at all. So it was tough, dude. It was real tough. And in January of 99, I lost my grandfather a few months before I lost Haley. And he was one of the most important people in my life, dude. Like he was the glue that held the family together. Once he passed away, my mom's side of the family went to shit. They went to shit. Because whenever he was alive, family meant something, dude. Family meant that no matter what the fuck you did, you still my family. And I'm going to tell you that you did some stupid shit, but I'm going to be there for you because we fucking family. They lost all sight of that shit whenever he passed away. And they looked down on me for being a 16-year-old, getting another 16-year-old pregnant. I'm a child, goddamn, having a child. So my whole family on my mama's side looked down on me differently. My dad's side of the family, I didn't fuck with none of them. So, except for my grandfather on my dad's side. My grandmother on my dad's side, she hated me. Feeling was mutual. But my mom's side of the family, up until my grandfather passed away, we was like this, dude. We was close as fuck. All my aunts and uncles and cousins, we was just like, it was family, dude. You know what I mean? And when May 22nd, my daughter passed away. On the 25th, we laid her to rest in Brevard, North Carolina. The only fucking person that was there at that funeral on my behalf was my father. My brother was deployed to South Korea. And my mom and her whole side of the family, they didn't come. It wasn't but an hour and a half drive, dude, to where she was buried at.
Right.
Hour and a half drive.
What did that do to you, man? I could only imagine what that would feel like, because here you are, 16-year-old kid, you just lost a daughter. I can imagine how lonely that feels. I can only imagine. But then not having the family support to kind of,
it makes you grow up faster, dude, because it makes you realize, like I said, my dad's my best friend, my brother's my best friend. I love my mom to death now. I've forgiven her for that shit years ago, but I don't know. It just lets you know, like at 16 years old, I had to learn that no one really got you but you.
Mhm.
You really all you got, man. Because although my dad is my best friend and my brother is my best friend, and I forgive him, my mom, when they pass away, all I got is me. At the end of the day, I got to make sure that my mental is in check. I got to make sure that I'm in check. You know what I mean? So I can't rely on nobody but me. And they taught me that at 16 years old, that don't put too much faith in people, whether it's family or not. And in 2014, whenever I went on the run to New Orleans, I soon discovered that just because blood runs through the same blood runs through your vein doesn't mean that your family. You choose your family. We choose our own family. True, indeed, we have our biological family, but as we grow older, you can cut ties with that family. If that family means you know well and isn't there like to support you, and I'm not saying like financially support you, like mentally and emotionally support you, if they're not willing to do that, but some fucking strangers are, that's your family. You know what I mean?
I completely understand. I think the family you choose can sometimes be a stronger bond than the family
Facts.
that with the blood you share. I'm blessed to have a few of those in my life as well. I'm blessed to start making a lot more connections like that as well.
Absolutely.
It's crazy. I'm making more of those type of connections now that I'm older than I ever did when I was younger. But I attribute that to me fixing myself. Like I started fixing myself, and as soon as I started fixing myself, this family started emerging that I never knew was there, And
Guys, I'm not in touch with anybody that I was friends with whenever I was younger. Like all my friends that I had before I went to prison in 2004, I've not spoken to any of them since 2004. Damn. We're not friends on Facebook. We're not friends on any, because a real friend, all right, you're my friend. Mm-hmm. You're going through a fucking tough time. I see that you're starting to use substance abuse as a fucking way to cope with that shit. A real friend's gonna come in and intervene. Not goddamn, oh, well, fuck, here's another line, dude. Here's another fucking pill. Here's another fucking drink. A real friend's not gonna do that to you. A real friend's gonna slap that shit out your fucking hand until you get your head out your goddamn ass and talk to me. Let's get this, straight so you don't go on a fucking path of self-destruction. So none of those were my friends. The people I have in my life now that I consider friends, they're true friends, dude.
You brought up a path of self-destruction, and you mentioned earlier that path started about 5 months after Haley passed. And before we go forward, I do want to apologize for Haley's passing, man. That I can imagine what that would feel like. I know what it's like to have kids hate you. Your kids hate you, but I can't imagine losing a child. And so before we go forward, I do want to give my condolences and, let you know that she'll be in my heart, my prayers tonight.
Thank you.
But moving forward with the conversation, you mentioned self-destruction and you said about 5 months afterwards, that's when you started really going down that path, that self-destructive path. Do you remember what the catalyst was that kind of, other than obviously Haley's passing, but you're here trying to mourn your daughter's passing and comprehend what's going on, but then and you're struggling with it for 5 months, but then after 5 months something snaps and you just say kind of fuck it?
Because it took me 5 months to finally mourn, dude. I know it sounds weird or whatever, but when she passed away, I walked in the room with coffee and orange juice and all that shit in my hand. And when I fucking bend that curve, she's gone. Stephanie's holding her, looking at me. She's crying. And she was like, she told me she's gone. And I didn't cry, dude. I didn't. Not that night, not the next day, not at her funeral. I didn't cry for 5 months, dude. And I was just sitting at home one day listening to the fucking radio, and that Mariah Carey and Boys II Men, that One Sweet Day song.
Oh, yeah.
That shit came on the radio, dude, and I fucking lost it, bro. I'm talking about completely fucking utterly lost it. Went into the damn kitchen, grabbed that fucking handle of tequila, popped the top, and just started chugging it. Went into my dad's bathroom and popped the medicine cabinet, grabbed the Xanax, popped the top on that shit, and just eating it like it was fucking Skittles, man. Chasing it down with fucking tequila. Lost it, man.
It's crazy what can get us to snap, isn't it? It's crazy that for you, a song, for me, it was a few simple words from my ex that just broke me. And granted, they were said with some malice behind them, but they're just words at the end of the day. It was just a song. At the end of the day, it was just a fucking song. And
it was.
The meaning that our mind and our emotions gave those things sent us down that hole. And it's crazy to think how something as simple as a song could do that to somebody. It's crazy to think that, man. It's crazy to think that, because like when good things happen to us and when good people come into our lives, like it's all the little things that matter, right? It's all the little things that are like, wow, my life's good. But we don't realize that sometimes it's the little things that can break us too. We always want to contribute our depression and our mental health, you know, when it's going downhill, with these big events, with these huge things that just break us. Now, I'm not saying you didn't have a big event, but you had a big event that you're working through, and all of a sudden the one little thing broke. It broke you, it snapped you.
It broke the dam.
All right. It was the straw that broke the camel's back, to be facetious with the what's the word I'm looking for? Conception of everything. God, I can't even think right now, man. I'm after that event of you trying to take your life. It sounds like the rush of emotions hit all at once, and you didn't know what to do with it, and you're just like, fuck it, I need to stop. You were about, I'm assuming you were close to 17 or 17 at the time. And what was the mindset after that event happened and you wake up in the hospital realizing what had happened or what went on?
One, I realized I wasn't the only person that was like, you know, when you suffer through like mental health and all that shit, right? You think you're the only motherfucker that's suffering mental health and depression and all that shit right there. So you're afraid to go talk to people because people, you know, you're afraid that motherfuckers gonna look down on you or look at you as, or you might have this persona of yourself as a strong individual, and everybody else looks at you for leadership and guidance and all that right there. So if they find out that you have depression or anything like that right there, it makes you appear vulnerable or weak or whatever. So being in a teenage like mental health wing or whatever for a few months, we have one-on-one counseling, and then we have group counseling. And it's almost like a damn AA class, dude, or where you're sitting in a fucking circle and everyone, you know, sometimes, like for me, it was maybe the fourth or fifth group counseling before I opened up about myself. But just sitting there and listening to some of these other teenagers, you know, from 13 to 17 years old, like reliving what brought them here, you know, it just, I don't know, it gives you a whole different mindset, man. It also really shows you how fucked up the world is, man. Because I met a girl in there. I'm not gonna disclose her name, but I met her in that mental hospital, and that's when I became a real big advocate of like shoot your local predator. You know what I'm saying? Because that's why she was in there, dude. She had been molested from the time she was 9, and she was 16 years old. And for some reason, like, she hated everybody, but for some reason she took a liking to me because I stood up for her one time. She could not sleep with her fucking light off. She had to sleep with the light on, had to have the light on 24 hours a day, dude. So this one kid, kids are assholes. We all were whenever we were kids. So a kid walks by and cuts her light off at nighttime, and she goes in fucking panic mode. So I run in and cut the light on, and me and him get into a fight, and they hit me with fucking the Thorazine. But me and her became close after that. And she lost her fucking struggle with depression, and she ended her life. So, I mean,
do you think as a kid, and it's, I've never had somebody, well, let me rephrase. I have had other people on the show that have gone to a psychiatric facility when they were kids or when they were children. But as a child, when you're going through that, your mind's still developing. You're questioning fucking everything that's being told to you. You're questioning life itself. You're questioning anything. You're questioning anyone that shows some type of remorse towards you. Like, is it real? Is it fake? Are they just here to do a job? Do they actually care about me? Like,
absolutely,
fuck, right?
Your guard's up.
Yeah, your guard is completely up. Do you think those kind of facilities help kids? Do you think they can help? Do you think they can be better? And I want to ask, because you've been through it. Do you think it could have, at that time, granted, that was almost 15 years ago, but
no, it was
20 years ago,
23 years ago.
Yeah.
23.
So
she would have been 23 years old the 19th of this month.
Okay. So yeah, about 20 something years ago. Do you think at that time, the way the mental health helped for children was beneficial, or?
Yeah, it was. It definitely was beneficial, but you have to be willing to accept the help that's given to you, and you have to be willing to want that help, man.
Do you think it's harder for kids to develop that want for help? I think, to be honest with you, when I think about it, when I was a kid, man, I wanted that help. I wanted somebody to care. I wanted somebody.
Well, it takes like for an adult. I feel like it would, like, I don't suffer from depression anymore, but I feel like as an adult, it would be harder for me to want that help or to accept that help. Whereas as a kid, you yearn for that shit, man, because like I said, none of my family was there for me aside from my dad. My brother, he wasn't there, but it wasn't because he didn't want to. Obviously, he wanted to be there, but he couldn't because he was deployed and he couldn't fucking just hop on a plane and come back. But I feel like they really do help, man, because you have some kids that they're like a cry wolf a lot of times. Mm-hmm. They like the goddamn, like, depression is not a joke at fucking all, dude. It is the realest thing that you will ever encounter in life. And hopefully you never have to encounter that shit. But if you do, it's the realest thing you're going to fucking encounter is depression. But you have some kids cry wolf whenever they don't get their way. I'm going to fucking kill myself. Send them to the hospital. Admit them for 2 weeks. Admit them for fucking 2 weeks. Let them sit in group counseling and listen to these fucking kids who really, really goddamn have a reason to want to fucking kill themselves. And they'll realize how blessed they are. And I promise you, a lot of them kids, they'll leave with a different outlook on life.
When you left, did you have a different outlook on life?
I did. I still was, really fucked up in the head. But the only thing I looked at differently was I was being selfish for wanting her to stay, because she was suffering the whole time she was alive. So the best thing that happened was she went peacefully. She doesn't have to suffer anymore. I questioned like my faith because, I grew up in a Christian household, went to church every Sunday. The youth ministry on Wednesdays, all that shit right there, dude. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, if God was real, then why the fuck would he take, an innocent month-old baby? And, I questioned everything, dude.
After this stint in the psychiatric ward for 3 months, you get out. What was the process for you to kind of get back into trying to live normal life like that after?
There really wasn't none, Josh. I went like 2 weeks after I got out of there. I had another bad spell hit me of depression, and
another Mariah Carey song.
No, it wasn't Mariah Carey. It just hit me, dude. So
sorry. Like the reason I went
to like a little so-called friend, and we were sitting there talking, and we were smoking a joint. He's like, "Man, you ever done coke?" And I was like, "Nah, I never done coke." 17 years old, no, I ain't never done coke. He was like, "Want to try it?" Did a couple lines and felt like I was fucking Superman, dude. Like no cares in the world. Like what was I even fucking sad about, man? I feel fucking incredible right now. It wears off. I want to feel that fucking way again. And that's when addiction sank in. So it was like 2 weeks after I got out of the hospital is whenever I fucking, went on a spiral, dude.
That's when your addiction started kicking in.
That's whenever I got addicted to cocaine and was going to provide for that habit by any means necessary, man. And the older I get, obviously I was ashamed of myself. And I was ashamed of myself for a long ass time, dude. Like,
do you think you're ashamed of yourself even during that time? Or were you just not cognizant of what was going on?
No, I know for a fact I was, man, because you would go there, like, go to the bathroom to fucking piss, and you just like look in the mirror, like, man, you're fucking pathetic, dude. You're sick, man. You're weak. You're a little bitch. Blah blah blah. So it's just, it always sinks in, man. But my best friend Claire, she's a firefighter in New Orleans. My best friend, I met her in New Orleans whenever I moved out there in 2014 on the run. Been one of my biggest supporters from day one, man, when I got locked up. She's been there for everything, man. Like, I talk to her all the fucking time, like 2 or 3 times a week. If you go on my TikTok, you'll see that post I made with her. She taught me, dude. Well, she didn't teach me, but she taught me like self-love. So you always beating yourself up, man, beating yourself up for things that are out of your control. Learn to accept that shit, dude. And once you learn to accept it, and you accept all your fucking wrongdoings, all your past endeavors, and realize that you're not that person anymore, that you're a strong, amazing person. Self-love, dude, is fucking, that's life, man. Never loved myself, ever. 39 years old, man. It took me fucking 37 years to love myself. And ever since then, it's been fucking amazing that I've had like a completely different outlook on life. 2 years ago, I wouldn't have been friends with fucking Boost or Lundini, or maybe Lundini because he like trolls a lot of fucking pedophiles. So me and him, maybe him, but like Boost, Diddy, fucking SWAT, Brent, all them dudes that are fucking police officers. I've never been cool with them, dude. Whenever if you go build a house, you're a framer, carpenter, or whatever. You go to work to build houses. The house that you build, the job that you do, is what puts money in your pocket to take care of your family. Okay? This cop, he goes to the fucking police academy. He becomes a police officer. And that's his bread and butter, man. That's how he supports his family at the same time. That's how he fucking protects the community and all that shit right there. So everybody's like, man, fucking police and all that shit. Why? The police did not put the bag of drugs in my fucking hand. The police did not put my foot through that fucking door. Now, he shot me with that fucking taser gun and it's fucking hurt like hell, dude. And I cussed him out, but then I apologized in the cop car. But it's not your fault, dude. Like, why am I gonna sit here and like bash you and fucking cuss you out for doing what the fuck you that's your job. You get paid to fucking lock criminals up. And goddamn it, I was a fucking criminal. I deserve to be fucking locked up. I deserve to fucking come to prison. But at the same time, I deserve a second chance because I'm not who I once was.
I love that saying, you're not who you once were. You know, there's a lot of people out there that have this saying, you know, people never change. People never change. And I am 100% adamant against that. Now,
I'm living proof that people change.
Well, you're still you. There's still a part of you.
Yeah.
But the parts of you that needed to change changed. Right. So I think when people say people don't change, they think like everything about them needs to change. Right. And no, that's not the case. What needs to change are the parts that need to change for the better. Now, when I say, hey, you know, I'm better now, I'm better with my depression, I'm changing, I'm a different person, that doesn't mean my favorite color fucking changed. It doesn't mean that I still don't like pizza on the weekends. It doesn't mean that I still don't like to go hunting. It just means the parts of me that needed to change changed. Yeah. The parts of me that were breaking me got healed. Those are the parts of somebody that changed. You know, mindsets can change. Ideas about things can change. And those are the things that need to change when you talk about somebody changing. I think it gets misconstrued to, well, they're still the same person. They still like to go shooting. They still like to do this. Well, yeah, they're still who they are. But the parts of them that were breaking them, or the parts of them that were not good, destroying people, that if that part changed, that's the change that fucking matters. That's the change we're talking about. That's the change that matters.
Exactly. And I never looked at it like how you just broke the shit down. It makes fucking perfect sense. Yeah, you're the same fucking person. Favorite color, same. You still like the same music. Fucking you like to do all the same shit. But the things that were fucking tearing you down, you changed that. So you kept the fucking, like you changed the bad and just kept the fucking norm.
Correct. And I wouldn't even say kept the good. You kept the norm. You said it perfectly. You kept the norm. When you got caught due to your addiction, you know, you got into this lifestyle of theft and crime. You just call it what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
You associate it to, you know, trying to facilitate your habit, your addiction. And it's not an uncommon story with people that have fought addictions. You know, we hear a lot of those kind of stories that, you know, they start stealing to pawn shit so they can get their fix. It's the way it works. It's a part of that life, unfortunately. But when you got caught and you got locked up for, I think it was 10 years, you said? 2004. From that point on, what was the mindset change now? When during that 10-year period did you say, you know what, this shit needs to stop, that I need to do something about this?
Well, immediately whenever I got sentenced at that time, I had to fucking have it like a whole different mindset, man, because with that much time, with any time in prison, it's like you have to have that kill or be killed mentality, man. Just, you don't have to be like the toughest motherfucker and you don't have to walk around mean mugging motherfuckers. You can still be a humble individual, but at the same time, you just always got to keep your guard up. And I always kept my guard up. So I just I know that whenever because they have any fucking drug that you have out there, we have back here. So I could have easily gotten cocaine or eventually moved up to fucking something 10 times worth, like heroin or fucking meth or something like that. But you have to, that clouds your judgment. So when you're in a place where it's kill or be killed, it's like going to fucking war or something like that and getting high while you're over there. Your fucking mind's not going to be in the right spot, dude. You need to be focused, fully fucking focused the whole goddamn time. You got to be prepared for whatever, man. So you got to get out of that's really what helped me break addiction right there, was coming here.
Do you think, you said something that kind of caught my ear. We hear a lot about being in a penitentiary, being in jail is meant to help or try to help change the mindset of that individual. That way, when they get released, they become a productive member of society, right? We hear these stories all the time. But do you think the environment of being in a penitentiary is anywhere close to being able to facilitate something like that? I mean, if you're constantly worried about survival, the last thing I'm going to be thinking about is working on my mental health. I got to make sure I wake up tomorrow.
Well, one, I can't speak for every state. I can speak for my state. They absolutely do dick for you to like rehabilitate you.
Right.
Okay. So if you suffer from depression in the free world, like say you wake up tomorrow and you're feeling suicidal, you're going to go talk to someone, right?
I am now. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. But back then, obviously you might not have, but now you go talk to someone.
Right.
Well, imagine you wake up tomorrow, depressed, suicidal and all that right there. And you have to fucking send someone an email and wait 30 to 90 days for them to reply to you. You'll either fucking been done killed yourself, or you probably gonna lost your fucking battle with depression because you had to wait so fucking long. Whenever you need help, bro. You don't goddamn reach out for fucking help. And like, you don't call me like, yo, Brian, man, I need somebody to talk to, man. I'm feeling fucking suicidal. And I'll be like, okay, man, I'm gonna call you back fucking at 1 o'clock in the morning. Or I'll call you back tomorrow, man. And then I call back tomorrow and you're dead. You needed me then. You don't need me tomorrow. I needed you now. So when you have depression in here, you have to fucking go on a kiosk, submit a goddamn request that takes 30 to 90 days for them to respond to it. Show me where that helps you.
I don't think it helps at all.
It doesn't. Rehabilitation programs. You have to be 2 years disciplinary free to get into a trade class, like brick mason, electrician, plumbing, carpentry, or GED. You have to be 2 years with no infractions. Like say you're back here and you get in a fight. You got to wait 2 years from the day you got in that fight before you'll be eligible to go into any of these programs, which is stupid because clearly we're in fucking prison because we goddamn couldn't follow the fucking rules out there. So you're going to fucking like just say, fuck it. You can't go get your GED because you got in a fight. So you have to wait 2 years. You can't participate in these programs that are supposed to help you rehabilitate yourself. So whenever you get out of the prison, you won't come back. You gotta wait 2 years. You know what I mean? So it's stupid.
Do you think that system needs to be reformed? It sounds like you do. Sounds like you think that system could be absolutely reformed. I would think that as soon as that individual was incarcerated, you would want to start working on that rehabilitation immediately.
Exactly.
I would think that would be right. Cause they're there because you're a criminal. Let's not have them keep that mindset for 2 years. Hey, yeah, you're in jail, but you're in jail and let's get you thinking right. Now, for those, don't get me wrong. I understand some people are just going to be assholes and they're just going to be criminals for the rest of their lives because that's who they are. I get that. I'm not ignorant to that fact, but
you can weed those out.
Yeah, you can weed those out. Offer up the rehabilitation to those that are truly wanting it, that are truly feeling like, fuck, I really don't want to be here and I don't want to come back.
All right, so if I get caught smoking a cigarette, I gotta wait 2 years from that day I got caught smoking a cigarette before I would be eligible for these rehabilitation programs, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I got caught smoking that cigarette today, April 1st, 2022. Okay, so now I gotta wait till April 1st, 2024 before I'll be able to get into any of these programs. But then say fucking April or May of 2023, a year after my first incident, you swing on me. I'm gonna protect myself. Now I gotta wait 2 more fucking years. So eventually you never get the help because the 2 years starts over.
Right.
It starts over and it starts over and it starts over. So eventually you got 5 years in fucking prison. And it keeps starting over, and you never get to make it to any of these right here. So you got to develop your own mental strength. You got to be strong mentally and work on yourself and make your own programs, dude. I got a library in my room, all self-help books, dude. I got maybe probably 20 self-help books. That's what I read. I read self-help books. I'll go on YouTube and I'll watch Jim Rohn, a motivational speaker. I'll listen to Wes Watson, a motivational speaker that just got out of fucking prison. He's a goddamn millionaire now. I listen to these people right here. Steve Harvey. I listen to motivational speaking, man, because I don't want to fucking be stuck in the same mind frame. I have someone depending on me. I have plenty of people depending on me whenever I get out. But I have one in particular that I can't let down, and that's my fucking 5-year-old daughter, man. She needs her dad. And it would be selfish of me to rob her of that opportunity to have her dad there with her. So I changed before I caught this time. I changed whenever I fucking in the county jail after I broke the law. And I fucking just realized, damn, dude, this is not what I want. I thought this is it. This isn't. I want to live. And I hauled ass in New Orleans. And so I was changed before I came here. But in the 5 years that I've been in here, I grew tremendously, Josh. Fucking mentally, 1,000. I grew 1,000%, dude. When I look in the mirror, I'm proud as fuck of the person staring back at me. Fuck the orange uniform. Fuck the surroundings. I'm fucking 1,000% proud of my reflection. And I wouldn't change a fucking thing, dude, because had I not broke the law in 2014 and caught this charge that landed me in prison, I'd do this time right here with a fucking smile on my face, bro. Because had I not broke the law, I would have never went to New Orleans. I would have never met my second family. I'd have never had my fucking daughter.
You said something about doing something for your daughter. There's one person, and how selfish would it be for you to do what you want? I'm going to challenge your thinking. I'm not going to say I disagree with you. I'm going to challenge your thinking. I think you need to do it for you first.
Absolutely.
First and foremost, not before the woman you love, not before your daughter. I mean, not for your daughter, not for a woman you love, not for your friends, not for your family, but for you first. Absolutely you first. Because, and here's my reasoning. If you don't do it for you first, you're going to end up failing because you're going to forget. People are fleeting, man. It could take one argument. Yeah.
I've done it for myself, Josh. I can't let her down whenever I get out, but I can't let me down. I know that. I can't let me down. I can't goddamn.
Because letting yourself down is going to let her down.
Facts.
That's why you come first. There's this training that we have in the fire department, in the military, and police, in any type of civil services training. You look out for yourself first, your team, the public, and then the mission, right? The reason being, if you ain't looking out for yourself and you get hurt or something fucks up and it's because of you, you become part of the casualties. Now your team is put in danger because of you. Now the public is not being protected because of you. And now the mission's not even being worked on because you weren't taking care of yourself first. You weren't looking out for you first, right? So it's the same thing in general life. If you're not looking out for yourself first, if something goes wrong with you, you're not going to be there for your daughter. You're not going to be there for your spouse. You're not going to be there for your friends, your family. You ain't going to be able to do it if you're not looking out for you first.
I 1,000% agree.
And
so, I do look out for me, man. Since I've been in here, I've been here for 5 years so far. My last 2 years is when I started making money. Now, obviously, it's not like legal. It's marijuana and cell phones and cigarettes, things that you can't get in prison. But I've made six figures in the past 2 years, and I've bought and paid for my truck, a 2021 Ram 1500, cash money, got the title for it. Bought my daughter's mother, my old lady, a 2022 Toyota Corolla, cash money paid for. And I've got every tool I need to start my own construction company, because that's my long-term goal. I've made goals for myself. I've made 90-day goal, 6-month goal, 1-year goal, 2-year goal, 5-year goal when I get out of fucking prison. And in my 2-year goal is to start my own construction company. I'm already enrolled into the fall semester at Delgado Community College in New Orleans to get my contractor's license, night classes, Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9:30 p.m. So it's 18 months that I got to go there. But I've been doing it for me. Damn sure I've been doing it for me, because this isn't the life I want to live. And like you said, if I let myself down, I let her down. I let my dad down. And, so on, so on. I ain't gonna let nobody down.
You brought something up that's interesting for me. So I've never been incarcerated. I've been detained, but that's it. You brought something up. Do you think that they don't offer enough opportunities for people that are trying to change their lives to support their families while they're incarcerated? I mean, you are having to, you're having to break the rules to provide for your family.
Absolutely. Well, they have like 6 prisons. There's 20 prisons, like 22 prisons in South Carolina. Mm-hmm. They have like 6 of them, dude. They have a thing called PI, which is prison industry. And those jobs right there, you get paid to work at. This prison doesn't have it. But one of them is like you scrape wood for hardwood floors and shit for a big flooring company. Another one is they rebuild transmissions and shit like that. But they get paid $5 an hour. So and they get paid, work 40 hours a week. But whatever they get paid, let's say 40 hours, so that's what?
$200
$200. Huh?
That's $200 a week.
$200 a week. All right, you get paid every 2 weeks, so $400. So after taxes, let's just say like $320 or whatever. Then you got to pay room and board, which is stupid as fuck, because the state is they make so much money off of me. Is unreal. They get paid like X amount of dollars a day to house me. And you can take all 3 of the fucking trays they feed you, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, for the whole week. And it wouldn't be a third of what they get in one day per inmate. But they charge you fucking room and board like you choose to stay, like it's a fucking hotel, but they charge you room and board. If you have like restitution out there, they take that out of there. So your paycheck, you might get like $80 every 2 weeks. So it's $160 a month that you get. You could pay a fucking phone bill.
They make it extremely difficult for you to provide for any type of family.
You could pay your fucking, your baby mama's phone bill, or you could pay for like 1 week of childcare off $180, but that's fucking it, dude.
Right.
You couldn't do anything else, man. You buy especially these days, like you can't even get her fucking a week's worth of groceries for $180, man. It's just so goddamn expensive.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting talking to you about this kind of stuff, because, I do believe that there does need to be some prison reform, especially for those that are actually trying to become productive members of society after, learning and really being, cognizant of the fact that they don't want to be back there and they want to become better. I think those type of people really do deserve a second chance. And if I hear a lot of excuses, well, we just don't know who's faking it. Come on. Really? You don't know who's faking it?
I feel like, man,
bullshit.
I feel like any human being, man, any child or adult you could tell people if people have genuine intentions or not. I can sit here and talk to you and know if you're fucking blowing smoke up my ass,
right,
or if you're fucking sincere, dude. So I don't know. You could tell who genuinely wants to fucking make a change for theirself so they never come back here. But especially, man, listen, when COVID hit, March of 2020 was the last time I got a visit because of COVID. And everything shut down. All those academic classes I just told you about, all that shit shut down. Still hasn't cranked back up. So for like the past, 2.5 years, ain't nobody been able to do shit. Nothing. No visits. They haven't been able to go see their fucking family. So it makes you want to fucking get an illegal phone so I can FaceTime my goddamn family. They had no classes. Nothing. Then they come around right like 2 weeks after the fucking news had shelved the Johnson & Johnson vaccine because they were saying it was like creating tumors or blood clots or some shit like that. As soon as they did that right there, they fucking come here and they were offering people Hershey's. They were like, man, if you get a shot, if you get the vaccine, you get a Hershey's bar. I'm like, what the fuck? No. I'm not an anti-vax or anything like that right there. I'm not my body, my right, none of that bullshit. I don't give a fuck if you get the vaccine or if you don't get the vaccine. In different circumstances, would I get the vaccine? Maybe, if my job required it. Because I'm not going to fucking lose making money to goddamn just, stand up for my beliefs and all that shit right there. I'm going to fucking provide for my family. Fuck it, if the vaccine kills me, it fucking kills me. But I'm not going to be a puppet or a lab rat in fucking prison and let you just experiment on me. No, but you have some, like, people are so simple-minded. They see this fucking Hershey's bar that's $1 on the canteen. They sell them on the canteen for $1. But they see this free Hershey's bar, and they're just that simple-minded. They're like, fuck, I'm going to go get this free candy bar and let you hear it. Go ahead and give me the fucking shot.
I want to talk to you about your mindset towards civil service personnel, cops in general, obviously. When did that start changing for you? When did that, hey, you know what, man, you're just doing your job. I get it now. When did that start changing for you?
In 2004, whenever I got locked up the first time, I've never had anything against him, but I would have never been friends with him. Prior to a couple years ago, like I said, whenever I started, growing a lot more mentally and fucking self-love and all that shit right there. But I've always respected that, dude. Like, that's your job, man, because everyone wants to say, fuck the police. But as soon as someone gets on your fucking ass, the first person you're going to call is the fucking police. The people that you just goddamn said, fuck. All the people that were protesting, like burning down police cars and all that shit right there. You got some fucked up cops, but you got some fucked up everything, dude. White, black, American, it don't matter. There's always going to be a bad apple in every fucking thing you have, whether it's religion, the military, fucking politics, police, whatever. Dude, you're going to have a fucking bad apple. That's just it. We can't just go around saying all y'all motherfuckers are bad because this son of a bitch right here did some foul shit. I don't know.
Why do you think it took you so long to be open to befriending cops?
Because I felt like I had an image to uphold. Like if someone was like, "Oh man, you friends with goddamn police officers, man," you like. I don't know. When I was younger, I thought that like it would make me not like my street cred wouldn't be there. Like I wouldn't be real or some shit like that because I was friends with what they would goddamn call an oppressor. So. But then, like, my mindset completely changed a couple of years ago. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck what no one thinks about me. I fuck you. When I wake up tomorrow morning, it's not my goal to fucking impress you. You know what I mean? So fuck what you think about me. I could give two fucks about that right there. If you're a solid motherfucker and you have good intentions and a good heart, and you want to be my fucking friend, I'm honored. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck what you are. You could be goddamn trans, LGBTQ, you could be a fucking cop, you could be whatever the fuck you are. If you're goddamn good to me, I'm gonna be good to you. If you respect me, I'm gonna respect you. And I go off of people's intentions, man. Like all those cops that I'm friends with on TikTok, I'm friends with them on Facebook. Diddy, all of them I'm friends with on Facebook.
Were you surprised at
their intentions, dude?
Were you surprised at the personalities of the people that you met that were cops, that were civil service members, people that you wouldn't normally have?
Man, listen, I was surprised as fuck off of the acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I first jumped in the boost, because I met them all through Boost. Lundini, SWAT, fucking Diddy, you, everybody I've met, like it started with Boost. So when I first got in this live, you know, my account was real low. Like it's still low. I only got like 5,000 people, but then it was real low. So I'm trying to build this shit up. And that was whenever I had my other account, Biden's mom should have swallowed account.
Yeah.
So
which, by the way, is when I met you, which I thought was
me and you
hilarious.
became friends during that time. So I was in his live and I was like, everybody saw me on a smart ass. So everybody was like, hello from fucking Canada or hello from Kentucky. And I'm like, hello from prison. And he just like, oh, are you for real in prison? I was like, hell yeah, do you want a tour? He was like, man, hell yeah, if you can goddamn give me a tour, that'd be fucking awesome. I'm like, hell yeah, I'll give you a tour. So he added me into the fucking box and instantly you get a good vibe off of him, man. Like he's like genuine person. Like he ain't faking it or none of that shit. Because if you're faking it, dude, you can only fake it for so fucking long before you expose your true self. I just seen like the genuine person that he was. I was like, damn, he ain't even like, fuck it. You made a mistake. You did what you did. Doesn't define you as a person. So went to his live a couple times. And then whenever I would jump in and he would have like SWAT or Lundini or Diddy or somebody, he would invite me in the box. Like, man, can you get in the box? I'm like, yeah. So I'm starting to interact with them. DoorDash, One Badass Cop, all them. So I'm slowly like interacting with them. And they're like, these are the same people who put me, well, they didn't put me there. They brought me here. I put myself here. They just got done escorted me the way. But these same people who put you there still believe in you. They still believe that that mistake that you made, you need to be punished for. But it doesn't mean that you can't grow from that shit, dude, and be a better person, a better version of yourself or whatever. So that right there, that helps a lot, dude, with my mental state. Because I'm sitting here like, I'm about to be 40 years old, Josh. So I'm sitting here like, damn, dude, no one's going to fucking accept me whenever I get out of fucking prison, which I don't really give a fuck if they do, because I got my daughter and my, you know, the family that I have, that they accept me. And that's the only acceptance I need. And I accept myself.
Yeah, but there's nothing to say. There's nothing to say that, don't get me wrong, being accepted and being liked for being a good human being is a nice fucking feeling.
It's a fucking amazing feeling.
Right. So and even if it's not your family, if you can walk out and people are respecting you because they know you're trying to be a better person, you're trying to do good, and just knowing your true heart, new people, it doesn't matter. It still feels fucking good. You don't need it. Don't get me wrong. You don't need it.
No,
you don't need it.
That.
But it still feels good when it comes your way. It feels great.
So being accepted by these same people and these same people believe in you. I put you there. Well, you put yourself there, but I had to do my job. Mm-hmm. They paid me to do this right here, so I'm going to do it. So I have to lock you up, but I still believe in you. I believe that goddamn that you can grow from this right here, and you can change. But I got to put you back here, and hopefully, while you're back there, you can change, or you can get the help that you need so that you can change, be the change that you want to be, or be the change you want to see, or whatever. So to get that kind of acceptance from, you know, cops and civil service people like firefighters, fucking paramedics and shit like that right there, people that are in the military, ex-military and all that. And they still like, you know, accept you because they see your intentions. Like DoorDash mom, Courtney, she told me, she was like, you know why I like you so much? And I'm like, why? She was like, because I've done spoke to many inmates on TikTok Live, and it's never their fault. They never accept responsibility. I always want to blame it on the fucking police, or they want to blame it, you know, fuck 12 and all that shit right there. But you openly admitted in Boost's Live that you fucked up. You deserve to goddamn get what you got, and you changed. So she said, I respect that right there because you're not fucking playing the victim.
That's it. Isn't that phrase right there, man? You're not playing the fucking victim. That godly how the world can change if people just stop playing the fucking victim. Take responsibility for your actions. You know, there's this saying that I like to say, you know, a lot of people are saying, well, we got free speech in America. Absolutely, you got free speech. You can say whatever the fuck you want. You can say it when you want and how you want, as long as it's not a call to action and you're not threatening somebody to harm them, right? Those are the only big two that you cannot do legally. But other than that, yeah, you can say whatever the fuck you want. But you're not free from consequence of saying whatever the fuck you want.
Facts. Freedom of speech, but be careful because whatever you say, goddamn.
There's consequence. You can say what you want to say, but you're not free from consequence. You're not. No. You can do what you want to do, but you're not free from consequence of the actions and things you say and do. You're not. And I think that's getting lost on a lot of people nowadays because they don't want to take responsibility. They think they got
accountability is a fucking key, man.
I truly believe so. I truly believe so. Where did you and when did you decide to start? Because it sounds like recently, within the 2 years, you really started hitting this self-reflection and self-growth really hard. What was it that kind of like, you know what, self-help books, I need to, what was it? Could you pinpoint it? Or was it just like you woke up one day and, you know, said, you know what, fuck it, I need to start doing something? Like,
I really can't pinpoint it like one particular thing, you know, like something that happened or whatever. I just know it was around like Christmas time of 2019. And my daughter's birthday is December 21st. So it's like right around that time right there. Like, I don't know, I wanted to be better, man. I know that I was going to be a good father and I was there, but like seeing her opening presents on Christmas and not have like the Christmas I wanted to have and all that shit, I'm like, man, fuck, dude. I started growing mentally. I just went for it one day. I had $1,000, well, $1,100 on my Cash App because my people had been sending me money. And I just haven't been using it. So I had a phone and I was saving it on my Cash App. And I had set in my mind that I was going to approach this nurse and just lay it out there and see if she, you know, if she was open to it or not. And from that day forward, I put $1,100 in a stranger's hand that could have told me, fuck you. I don't know what you're talking about. And there's not a goddamn thing I could have done about it. One, I'm in prison. Two, I'm on an illegal phone sending fucking money to a fucking nurse to try to bring me in some marijuana, cigarettes, and phones and shit. So what the fuck can I do but just take the loss? And it's been fucking a blessing ever since, man. The Christmas of 2020, man, my daughter had a fucking Christmas out of this world, dude. Last year, the year before, 21, 22, this year right here, she's going to have a fucking epic Christmas. I've got a tremendous savings account saved up whenever I get out. Like I said, 2 paid off vehicles, an ass of clothes and shoes, an ass of tools, college already paid for. I've built my credit score up. I got a 756 credit score back here now. So I mean, I've been doing a lot to prepare. So whenever I do step out this fucking door right here, I'm never gonna look back. I'm not gonna forget where I fucking came from. I'm not gonna forget what goddamn made me. But at the same time, I'm gonna have tunnel vision and just focus on what's in front of me, because I can't come back. You know, you can't go back to yesterday, or we can't go back to fucking 5 minutes in this conversation ago. You know what I'm saying? So you just continue to look forward, man. But always in the back of your mind, remember where you fucking came from, the struggles you came from to get to where you're at now. Never forget that. That's what people fucking lose it. They lose their humbleness and become arrogant. And then arrogance is your fucking ultimate downfall. Always got to remain humble no matter fucking what, dude.
Absolutely. I think remaining humble not only towards other people, but most of all towards yourself. You know, remember.
Absolutely.
So your past can mold you for sure, but it doesn't define you. You can't live in the past. You can't change a damn thing about it. Your struggles can either be the struggles or you can use them to grow. You know, it's just like a fucking 25-pound fucking dumbbell sitting right there. Wake up in the morning, man, I wish I was stronger, but you don't pick up the fucking dumbbell. You gotta force yourself to go through that struggle and use that dumbbell to get your arms stronger, to get stronger. Don't get me wrong, I understand, you know, struggles and traumas happen in our lives that sometimes we don't ask for. But at that point, you have a choice. Do I allow it to be the struggle and the trauma, or am I going to use it like a 25-pound dumbbell? Am I going to use the struggle that's presented to me, and am I going to grow and get stronger from it?
Use it as a stepping stone.
Exactly. Use it to learn about yourself. Use it to become better. Don't let it define you. But yeah, man. Well, Brian, brother, I'm going to start winding it down.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to tell my story. I'm glad that you believed in me enough. If anyone else believes in me or not, you yourself, a complete stranger that absolutely fucking doesn't know this can of paint, you gave me an opportunity to tell my story, and you had enough belief in me to want to hear it.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
It's more than that, man. Like, so I would like to think that I'm a pretty good judge of character. Granted, I got to work on it some due to recent events, but I truly believe that no matter what somebody's circumstance, no matter what somebody's past or current situations that they're in, you got to be able to just look at them as a human being first. You're not a prisoner. You're not an inmate. You're not a criminal. You're Brian. You're Brian. You're a dude that just happens to be a prisoner. You're a dude that happens to used to be a criminal. You're a dude that happened to have done some pretty fucked up shit and got in trouble for. But it just because it happened doesn't mean it's you. And I truly believe that people deserve chances. And I want to get to know everybody, man. I want to get to know human beings on a level that most people don't allow themselves to get to know another human being on. You know, they similar to your situation in befriending Boost and Kosh, right? It took you up until 2 years ago to be able to be open enough to do that, to learn that just because they're a cop doesn't mean that they're a cop. No, Boost is Boost. He just happens to be a cop.
He's having to be a fucking police officer.
That's it, right? And the human aspect of being a human being is getting forgotten by titles, by mistakes, by, you know, this weird idea that if you're doing something, it's who you are. And that's not true. It's not true. You know, I'm a firefighter. I have depression. It doesn't mean I'm a depressed firefighter. That's not who I am. I'm Josh. I just happen to be a firefighter, and I happen to be battling depression.
Depression. Yeah.
That's it. And so I do my best not to judge anyone on their circumstances and where they came from. And the reason, like I said at the beginning of all this, the reason why I invited you on is because I truly thought you were sincere. I felt that you were sincere.
Well, I hope through my story that you can tell that I am sincere.
Absolutely, man. Well, man, I really do appreciate everything you shared so far. And I do appreciate you being open and honest. I appreciate the fact that you didn't pull any punches with talking about what you went through. I know because of what I've been doing that whenever you relive a trauma and whenever you start talking about it again, those emotions and feelings come back up. And the human mind, the human mind's a really fucked up thing. Like you relive that time and the emotions come back. It's not always as easy as just talking about it again, because when you talk about it, you relive it, you feel it again. It's not just talking about it. So I do appreciate you doing that. I usually end the podcast, man, with about 3 questions. Maybe 1 or 2 word answers. No big deal. But my first one, and I've switched up the questions from previous podcasts, so these are all new. My first one is, and you kind of answered it already, but if you can go back, not knowing what you know now, but only knowing that you can make a different choice, would you do it again?
Not knowing what I know now.
Not knowing what you know now, but knowing you can make a different choice. That's a hard question. Now, some people are like, they're like, wait, hold on. How is that
really
work?
Can't say. I mean, we are our past, dude. We are our mistakes. So, like, sometimes it takes that fuck up to goddamn, because no one leads a perfect life, man. So sometimes it takes unfortunate circumstances for people to get to where they actually need to be, man. So, no, I met, even though you said we can't go back to like, because
you wouldn't change
not know
anything.
What we know now. Yeah, right. I was just, no. Because I feel like I needed to go through my struggles to get to where I'm at.
Yeah, I was asked that question, about a month or 2 ago, and I think it was by Diddy. Actually, he asked me this. He goes, "If you can go back, knowing what you know now, would you go back and change anything, or would you go back and do it all again?" I said, "That's a really hard question, because I know what I went through. I know the trauma that I've been through. I know all the shit that I had to go through. Would I go back and change anything?" As much as part of me wants to say yes, no. Now,
you're just trading one fucking pain for another, man. Because although you might fucking give that back, like you might be able to fucking stop that and say no to this one circumstance right here, doesn't mean that something was going to come shortly afterwards and fucking lead to something maybe worse. So now you got to relive that a different type of pain. You don't conquer this pain, and now you got to go fucking conquer a different pain. So why change it?
Exactly. Why roll the dice on it? I already made it through. But I did.
One situation was meant to kill you.
Yeah, I did tell him. I was just like, as much as I hate it, yes, I would relive everything again without changing a thing. Even though knowing I would still have to relive all that shit. That would suck. But I wouldn't change a thing. Because I am who I am now. I'm in the position where I'm at now. I got a beautiful woman in my life. I got friends that I'm making. You, Boost, Diddy,
absolutely.
Smokey, a family that I'm building that wouldn't have happened. Or maybe it would have, but I don't want to roll the dice on it. So, yeah, I get that answer a lot. Nah, I wouldn't change anything, because I am where I am and I am who I am because of what I went through. And I think that comes from people that truly respect the struggle that they've been through. They truly respect it. So anyway, my second question to you, brother, is, do you have any questions for me? Real simple.
No, I think we pretty much covered all the bases on that right there.
Yeah. Yeah, you ain't got no questions for me, man. I'm all good with it. I'm all good with it. My last question to you, brother, is if there is anything that you can tell the world right now, or any piece of advice or something we didn't talk about, this is your chance to kind of just say it right now. What would that be?
If you're suffering from depression, don't postpone that shit and think, that you can't reach out to someone because you're afraid they might judge you. Get help, because if you wait too long, that shit just continues to pile up, and then one day you'll lose your fucking battle with depression, man. So as soon as you feel it coming on, reach out, man. It don't have to be a fucking doctor. It can just be someone. It could be a stranger. With social media now, you can fucking post something and more strangers will reach out to you than fucking friends and family. So just get help. Definitely. You can overcome it.
All right, then. Just get help. Get help. It's not as hard as it sounds to get help. It's actually not that hard. Easy. It's not that hard.
Your pride stops you from getting help, man.
Yeah.
Pride will kill you.
Your pride will definitely kill you. Well, man, I really do appreciate you coming on the show again, Brian. I really am very thankful for your friendship and your trust in me to have you on the show. I can't wait to get out, man. I can't wait to see you in New Orleans. I visit New Orleans. I visit New Orleans quite a bit. So I can't wait to see you there. Whenever I get there, you best believe I'm going to be contacting you. So
absolutely.
We'll go grab some good gumbo. We'll go do something. Crawfish, man. Crawfish. Yeah.
Crawfish, jambalaya.
Yes, sir. But yeah, man, I really appreciate the person that you've become.
Thank you, man. That means a lot, really. You have no idea what it does mean a lot, man. I can't wait. I mean, I hope this in June, whenever you do post this right here, hopefully people can hear my story, and hopefully if it just helps one person, then fuck them. Our time was, well worth it.
Yeah, I had a gentleman on. His name was Dylan. I had him on the podcast we recorded 2 days ago or yesterday. I don't remember. But he said something to the effect of, he said, if not 1 million, then at least 1. And he was referring to, if I can't help 1 million, then let it be 1.
Exactly.
Because then it's worth it.
Because that one person you help might be able to go help another person, and it turns into 1 million.
Exactly. Might not go as fast as you want it, but at least you save or help someone, right? Absolutely. If not 1 million, then let it be 1. Anyway, man, thank you for coming on What Makes Us Fire. What Makes Us Fire family. This is Brian. Brian, where can they find you on social media?
Brian Joey Smoke is my Facebook, and Locked Up, They Won't Let Me Out is my TikTok name.
Awesome. Go show Brian some love. Check out some of his content. Become part of Locked Up, They Won't Let Me Out family, because that family is going to grow. I have a feeling it's going to grow for a good cause. So, well, man, much love to you. What Makes Us Fire family. Have fun, stay safe, show some love and peace out in the world. You never know who's going to need it. You never know if you'll be the one to make the difference. Being that difference feels really damn good. Be the change you want to see in the world without letting the world dictate how you see that change happen. Just be the best version of yourself for yourself first. Give that out to the world, and I promise you, your world does get better. Much love to y'all. Peace.
All right, brother.
What did I say? It was a bit different. Brian being incarcerated, using a phone he wasn't supposed to have, and sitting down and having a pretty in-depth conversation with me. Now, I want to make this completely clear. I do not condone anybody breaking the rules in any way, shape, or form. And I strongly encourage everybody to follow the rules, to do as they're told, especially if they're incarcerated. However, in saying all that, I truly believe Brian had to make do with what he had, and providing for his family, staying in touch with his family. I can only imagine what it would be like having to try to make that work. And I don't condone him for it, but I do not condone the breaking of rules. So I'm a bit in a hard spot here. He's a good guy through and through, and I don't blame him for the sins that he has committed. He fully is aware, as you heard, that he deserved his punishment, and he served it. Right now, he's doing great. He's with his daughter. He has a steady job, and I cannot be more proud of the man that he has become and what he has used from his past and his experiences and the mistakes that he has made and the choices he has made. He's chosen to learn from those things and become a better individual. Some of you might ask why I had him on. Well, that's because he has been involved with the civil service realm, just on the other side of the fence. And it was amazing to hear his growth from those experiences as well. So, Brian, brother, thank you so much for jumping on the show. You guys, this is the point of the show. I want to say, if you're not following What Makes Us Fire on any social media, you should be following What Makes Us Fire on all social media. We are on TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, we are on it. Just type in @WhatMakesUsFire, all one word, you'll find us. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do. It's What Makes Us Fire space podcast, What Makes Us Fire podcast on YouTube. You'll see the logo, you'll know you found the channel, you can see the pretty faces behind the weird voices, or the weird faces behind the pretty voices, depending on what your cup of tea is. I just think I'm weird both ways, but you know, it is what it is. If you find yourself in a spot where you're needing some help right now and you don't know who to call, the National Suicide Prevention Hotline is 100% free, anonymous, confidential. You can talk to somebody. And I only promote the National Suicide Prevention Hotline because I have utilized it and it helped when I needed it. They do have a area for veterans and military personnel, first responders. They do have a certain line that you can connect to with them as well. So if you're a first responder or a military veteran, or you're in the military, you're not just going to talk to somebody that won't hear you, that won't understand you. They get you in contact with somebody who's been there. And that is something that I truly believe is beneficial for all of us. The number is 1-800-273-8255. The number again is 1-800-273-8255. Make the call. If you need it, make the call. There's no shame. Also, I want to say thank you to all of you. You guys have been great. You guys have been amazing. The support that you have been showing What Makes Us Fire, for me, is awe-inspiring. And I am not going to fail. Not only because I don't want to fail, but because you all have been amazing in supporting me. And I want to show my respect to you all by making sure this thing is safe. Catch you on the next one.